So, you've probably heard this idea before. The law exposes sin, but only Christ can change the heart. It's a massive theme in the Christian faith, but what does that actually mean in practice? Well, in this explainer, we're going to unpack the true purpose of God's law and why, believe it or not, it was never meant to be a path to salvation. Okay, let's get into it.
I mean, think about that for a second. What if the very thing you're relying on to make you right with God was never designed to do that job? What if the rules, the standards, the whole system you believe is your ticket in was actually designed for a completely different purpose?
And here's the bottom line, the central idea of this whole explainer. The law can expose your sin. It's brilliant at that, but it can never, ever change your heart. And here's the kicker, that's by design. Its God-given job isn't to transform you. Its job is to hold up a mirror and show you just how badly you need to be transformed. It's the diagnosis, not the cure.
Right, so to really wrap our heads around this, we've got to ask, what was the law actually for? It turns out it's not some ladder we're supposed to climb to get to God. It was a tool with a very specific and temporary purpose. The Apostle Paul, he gives us this incredible picture. He calls the law a pedagogos, or a tutor. Now, in the ancient Greco-Roman world, this wasn't some friendly classroom teacher. This was a trusted household guardian, often a slave, whose entire job was to watch over a child, supervise their behavior, and protect them until they grew up and became a legal adult. So get this, the tutor's role was all about protecting and disciplining. But, and this is the key, it was totally temporary. The moment the heir came of age and received their full inheritance, they were no longer under that tutor's authority. Paul's point is that the law served this exact function for humanity. It guarded us, it showed us the rules, but it was never the end game.
Here's another way to think about it, and this one really clicks. The law is like a mirror. It'll show you every last bit of dirt on your face with perfect clarity, but it has absolutely no power to wash you clean. Or, even better, think of it like a moral X-ray. It can give you a crystal clear image of a broken bone, but it can't do a thing to set it. Its purpose is only to diagnose.
And this right here just lays it all out so clearly. The law is a world-class diagnostician. It can diagnose the condition, our internal rebellion against God. It can expose that rebellion for what it is, and it shows us in painful detail just how far we fall short. But what can it do? It can't heal us, it can't change our desires, and it gives us zero power to actually obey the very things it commands.
And that diagnosis, well, it leads us straight to the real heart of the problem. Because the law points out our external actions, but those actions are just symptoms of something much, much deeper going on inside.
And you know, this is the trap so many of us fall into, right? We see the diagnosis from the law, and our first instinct is to think, okay, I just need to try harder. I just need more discipline, better rules. But that completely misses what the diagnosis is telling us.
See, the Bible's diagnosis is way more radical than that. It says the real problem isn't just our behavior on the outside. It's an internal heart of stone, a heart that's naturally hard, resistant, and rebellious toward God. So the point is, you don't just need better behavior, you need a brand new heart.
Okay, so if the problem is a fatal heart condition, what's the only solution? A transplant, right? Well, that is exactly what God promised he would do. This is where the story takes an incredible turn.
I mean, listen to this. Centuries before Jesus even walked the earth, the prophet Ezekiel wrote down this mind-blowing promise from God himself. This isn't about trying harder. This is about divine surgery. God doesn't just demand a changed life. He promises to perform the change himself from the inside out.
This really shows the night and day difference. The old way, the law, it commands from the outside. But the new way, the Holy Spirit, transforms you from the inside. That heart transplant we just talked about, that's the Spirit's work. The law convicts our conscience, showing us we're slaves to sin. But the Spirit renews our heart and makes us sons and heirs. It's a total shift in our identity and where we get our power.
And what's so amazing is that this divine heart transplant, it's not just about you and me. It's actually a key part of God's massive cosmic plan to move from simply redeeming us to totally restoring, well, everything.
Okay, so if you zoom out and look at the grand story of the Bible, you see this incredible arc. In the beginning, God brings perfect order out of chaos. Then sin enters the world and brings the chaos roaring back, in our hearts, in our world. The cross is the turning point, God's ultimate rescue mission that launches the new creation. And that makes the final goal possible, the complete restoration of everything.
Seriously, this is so much bigger than just trying to be a better person. Paul writes in Romans that all of creation is literally groaning, just waiting to be set free from its bondage to decay.
Our new hearts are like the first fruits of a much bigger harvest. God's promise to make all things new.
Okay, so what does this all mean for you and me today? I mean, if we have this new heart, if we're part of this new creation project, what are we supposed to be doing with that?
And this is absolutely crucial. The Christian life isn't a passive thing. We're not just forgiven people kind of sitting around in a waiting room for heaven. No way. We are new creation people, filled with God's Spirit, and sent into the world on a mission.
And what is that mission? It's to be a living, breathing preview of God's restored world right here, right now. It means we're called to bring truth into places of deception, to bring mercy where there's cruelty, to bring holiness into corrupt situations, and to bring real hope where there is despair. We get to reflect the character of the God who gave us a new heart.
All right, let's wrap this up by putting it all side by side. First up, the law is the X-ray. It exposes sin perfectly. But the gospel, the good news about Jesus, is the divine surgery that actually changes the heart.
Next, think about it legally. The law looks at our track record and, well, it has no choice but to find us guilty. But the gospel justifies us through grace. That means God declares us righteous not because we earned it, but as a free gift.
And finally, the law is fantastic at revealing the deep stain of sin on our lives, but it has no power to wash it away. The gospel, the work of Christ, is what actually cleanses us and makes us new. It's simple. The law is the diagnosis, but the gospel is the cure.
So it all comes down to this one question, a question for you to really think about. After all this, where are you putting your trust? Are you still trying to live by a law that can only ever show you your failure? Or are you learning to live from the new heart that Christ has already given you?